Hey everybody, this is DIY Lawn Coach Al at Lawn Care and Home Repair. It's about time to get this spring lawn care season started. About time for that pre-emergent. Be right back. Hey DIYers, this is DIY Coach Al at Lawn Care and Home Repair. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but we are right here at the beginning of the lawn care season, depending upon where you are in the country. I'm up here in Northeast and Central Maryland and Prince George's County. We actually, I guess kind of the last 6 or 7 months or so, it's just been wild weather, actually going back to last summer, but we've been hit by snow and ice up here and everything else. This is the first time I'm seeing my grass in maybe a month because we got hit up in this area with a few snowstorms over the last few months, more particularly over the last three or 4 weeks. And today it feels like it's about maybe 62, 63 degrees, kind of windy. But we are right here at the beginning of the lawn care season. I know that those down there in the southern region, whether you have cool season grass or the warmer season grass, it's about that time. And for most of us, it's coming up on that time to put down that pre-emergent. Now, what I thought about with my lawn last lawn care seasoning, I had difficult time with a few weeds, grassy weeds in particular. Out here, I treat about 10,000 square feet altogether, what's in here and what's beyond the fence. And over in this area, right around here, I had a big issue last summer with the common Bermuda, and I did eventually hit it with the Ornamic 170. I put down a few applications of that, and I was actually at a point where I thought I was going to have to just really smoke my whole yard. But then I realized, okay, it's kind of centralized to this area of the lawn and then over there. So thankfully, after hitting it with a couple applications of the Ornamic 170, it really actually did a really good job towards the end of the summer. I didn't see any more issues with the common Bermuda. So the Ornamic did what it was supposed to do. But this is the first year I actually started taking total care of my lawn. I've been kind of taking care of my lawn on and off for the past 25 years or so. But it was the first time I decided, hey, I'm not having anybody come in and do anything. I'm going to do it myself. And I had a service, maybe True Green. And I'm not saying that they didn't do a good job. I'm saying you kind of get what you pay for. And I don't remember them coming in and doing everything to my lawn that I would do myself. And as probably most of us would do when we come down, when it's not looking too good, it's looking kind of, I don't even know what word to use, not as green as it should. And, we come out and we hit it with some urea, something like that to green it up. And for those of us who do our bionutrients and, they don't do things like that. So we have to do it ourselves. But when I started doing it myself, I think what happened, that Bermuda came from back in that area out there where there's a walk for the community, trail for the community. Because when I went out there, I saw it coming from over there. So what I did, I hit it with the Ornamic, and that was good. And then after that, I noticed that I was getting, especially in these places that don't get as much sun, that have a lot more moisture, I started getting the moss. So I had to get the moss out and hit it with that. Then I started having an issue with the nuts edge. And then finally, I started having the issue with the POA. Now, right over here, this is going to be my project for this year. Now, typically, we know that the spring and summer is not the best time to plant new grass seed. Now, if you have to do it, you have to do it. But this area I struggled with last year. So I'm going to make this area my project area. I was really having an issue with both moss over here and POA over here. So what I had to do because that poa was growing, spreading so quickly. My first thought was to just dig it up and try to dig it all up and maybe put some sod there or something else. But it was actually spreading so fast. I could see it was coming down this stretch. So I had to just go ahead and smoke that. But I knew that I was going to be using this part of my yard. I think it's maybe 800 square feet or so. I knew I was going to be using that part of the yard as a project. I love doing projects. I think it's a psychotherapist in me liking to see things grow and kind of getting back to good health. So I'm going to be doing two things. Also last year, I realized my neighbors don't take, they don't treat their lawn the way that I do, and actually will do some things to their lawn, put some herbicides down and just kind of help them out a little bit, which also helps my yard so that the weeds are not growing over here, putting some fert down, the herbicides to help control it. But I did realize that I started having some spurge in some places. Also had a little issue with Dallas grass, and there was one other that I can't think of. The spurge, the Dallas grass, the poa. But I was able to get all those under control. Now, as I said, it's about that time of year to look at the pre-emergent. And I used tenacity last year when I was doing my overseeding. Obviously, that's one of the herbicides that won't kill your new seed. So I used that, and I don't know if anybody watched my videos from last year. My whole lawn was almost destroyed. The back and the front lawn was almost destroyed as a result of the common Bermuda. And because we had that drought, that didn't help. We had the heat wave, that didn't help. And then we had 15 days of rain, and I had dollar spot, brown patch, rust. I had some of every kind of, well, not every kind of fungus, but I had to use some fungicide, azoxystrobin, propiconazole. So I was able to get that under control. Now this ground was covered in snow, and when it melted, what I realized is that I did still have some dollar spot, that few spots over here and some over there. But the first thing I'm going to do this year, I'm going to use prodiamine this year, because my understanding now, unless I read it wrong, the prodiamine is good for the suppression of the poa and the suppression of the common Bermuda. It will not kill it, but I realize I have to dial up my program, So I'm going to go ahead with the prodiamine. I've heard some good things about that. I am going to dial up my fungicide, do that too. But the very first thing I'm going to do prodiamine. I'm going to hit most of the yard out here beyond the fence and my front yard, which I'm not going out to today. I'm going to hit that with the prodiamine. But this section, because I will be doing a seeding project, I am going to be using the tenacity over here. The prodiamine will prevent new grass seed from germinating and growing. So if you're thinking about doing a project this fall, depending upon the rate that you use the prodiamine, that could actually stunt your new grass from growing. So if you're going to be planting a fall overseed, I would really look at the different products that has prodiamine in it to see if you can get one that's not going to be in your soil for the 4 or 5 months. The one that I'm going to put down is going to provide that protection for 4 or 5 months, and that's going to run into potentially your fall overseeding time. So make sure if you're going to be doing an overseeding, you don't want to use prodiamine or some of the other pre-emergents, because that will hinder you from having a successful growing season in the fall. The tenacity is indicated. It will help to suppress the poa. It will help to suppress the common Bermuda, but that only lasts, I think, about 2 to 4 weeks. So I'm hoping that when I do this reseeding over here, already I know it's not the best time to do a seeding. I already said that. But because I had so much damage over here, I am prepared for this not to grow the way that I want to. Other thing is that I'm actually thinking about making this a patio right here off my house. So even if it's not as successful as I want, this is most likely going to be used for something else anyway. But like I said, I love a challenge. I'm going to hit it with the tenacity. I'm going to do some seeding. I have the Jonathan Green TTTF Black Beauty that I'm going to be using. I use it out here for the rest of my yard. It looked good. But yeah, I just wanted to come out and let you guys know that you want to make sure that you are not putting your pre-emergent down until your lawn temperature hits about 50, 55 degrees, somewhere in that range. Can you do it at right below 50? I don't think it's going to hurt, but hey, you have to kind of make that decision yourself. But because I did deal with the common Bermuda, because I did have to deal with the POA. I did have to deal a little bit with the Dallas grass, the spurge, and some of the other things as a result of that. I'm going to do mine as soon as I am right around 50. You want to make sure you are checking with the weather forecast to make sure you are going to have a stretch of days where where the temperature is not going to be dipping. Typically, you do want to make sure you also had your last frost of the winter. But once again, if you check, you can go online and check, put your address in, put your zip code in, and you can actually get a forecast of what the weather is going to be like coming up. Make sure you are putting it down at the right time. Personally, I ordered a thermometer. Instead of going with what I see online, I'm going to be using my ground thermometer. I'm going to make sure I go about 2 to 3 inches down to see what that temperature is like. I'm going to also make sure that we get a good stretch of weather so that it gives that pre-emergent the best it gives it the best chance of being able to do its job, to stop those weeds from emerging. And then I'm going to make sure I keep my program dialed in. I'm hoping that this is going to really deal with that significant outbreak that I had last year of the common Bermuda. Using the Ornamic 170, it did help, but that stunts the growth of the grass. Using the tenacity, it does help when you're doing your seeding project. Don't so much like how it can turn the grass white as a result of it. That shows that it is working. Just not a fan of the look. But just make sure you're getting ready. My advice is make sure you consider what you want to do in the fall. I am going to be doing an overseed most likely in the fall of that area over there that I talked about. So I don't plan on using the prodiamine over there at all. I will continue to use the tenacity to deal with that part of the yard. Out here, I was just really happy with the results I got last year after getting rid of the Bermuda, getting rid of the Dallas grass, getting rid of the POA. I was happy with those results. So the program that I have is actually really good. That works for me. Not everybody's program is going to work for you. I did not do a soil test on my lawn. I noticed that each year I just did not have a problem with growing my grass. For some of you, you may want to get a soil test. I have some lumps in my yard. Didn't want to deal with the soil leveling. Wasn't that big a deal to me. What I realized in watching so many different videos on YouTube about lawn care, some people try to replicate what other people are doing. You need to really make sure you know your lawn, what works for you. I have TTTF, turf type tall fescue. I like to keep mine cut at about 2 or 3 inches. Know if you cut it too low, that's going to give weeds a better chance to come up. So you want to make sure that your grass is thick. You want to make sure you are hitting it with those things that's going to help your grass. Some people use different products, and I've seen some people who are very successful on YouTube who said they don't use any of those things. They basically will put their pre-emergence down in the spring, put their pre-emergence down in the fall when the temperature is going below 70. They hit it with fertilizer. If they want to green it up a little bit, they hit it with some urea. But some people say that their lawns look as nice as it does without having to do all those things. Don't do what I do for your lawn. Don't do what everybody else does and a blanket way of thinking that that's going to work. Make sure you know what's working for your lawn. Keep your program dialed in and make sure you are staying on top of it. Hey, it feels like the temperature just dropped about 5 degrees in the time that I started this video. I'm going to go inside, get my thermometer, come back out in a few weeks. I did hit it with my pre-emergent this fall, and I've not seen any issues. I'm already having some growth in some things, not seeing any issues anywhere. I think that Jonathan Green that I used, that pre-emergent, has done a good job. So as I said, I'm going to keep that program dialed in. You guys do the same. Hey, do me a favor. If you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate that. This is DIY Coach Al, lawn care and home repair. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, your weekend, whatever it is. Take care.